So you want to call right at the top, say this is the spread map. And we're going to talk about this, talking about how Islam spread across the world. Number two, we have here, Mr. Bolts, ready to roll. Muslims divide themselves into groups just as Christians do. Christians, you are Protestant. You are Roman Catholic. You are Eastern Orthodox. You are Coptic, and several other groups besides that. Muslims divide themselves, or Muslims, two pronunciations, same word, divide themselves into two groups. The Sunnis, who tend, and now I have to stress the word tend, 20 years ago I would just say who tend to be more favorable to Western civilization. Sunnis tend to be more willing to adapt Western ideas, okay? And Saudi Arabia is a Sunni nation, so the document that you just read is a Sunni document. The Shiites wouldn't necessarily agree with that, okay? Everything in most of it they would not in it. The other group is the Shiites, or Shia, S-H-I-A. I will take either on the test. You can say S-H-I-A, Shia, or S-H-I-I-T-E-S. Be careful in the pronunciation. Okay, it's not shitties, it's Shiites. Okay, they take real offense at that. If you say, oh, you're shitty, no. Okay. Shiites, S-H-I-I-T-E-S, Shiites. Okay. Iran is Shiite. Iran is Shia.
Did you say Iraq was Sunnis?
Iraq is Sunni, and is Saudi Arabia. Although there are a lot of Shia down in southern Iraq near Iran. That's why that country doesn't work terribly well, and why a lot of people are really worried when the United States pulls the last of the troops out of there. God only knows what will happen, because next to disliking us, they really dislike each other. Okay, so it's hard running a country in which you have two halves that don't really like each other. All right? Now, on the back of this page are the major Muslim nations. And it tells you the percent of the population that is Sunni, and the percent of the population that is Shia. And it goes all the way from Afghanistan to Yemen. And most of these countries are across the middle of this map, and we'll explain why here in due course. Okay? All right? At the bottom of this side, back over to this side, at the bottom, there's a box you may want to put a square around it or something if you have a highlight. It has some interesting facts. Number one, Islam is the world's fastest growing religion. They will eventually, in time, as I said at the beginning of this unit, pass Christianity in size. It may take hundreds of years to do it, and who knows what may happen. But currently, Muslims are reproducing and converting people to Islam faster than Christians are, and have been for quite a while. Okay? Number two. Second thing down there, 1.25 billion people in the world are Islamic. Christians, depends on who's counting, but approximately 2 billion, I suspect. Okay, I'll never ask you that. The area known as the Muslim world is a group of more than 50 countries that stretches from Western Africa to China and the Philippines and Indonesia. Some 6 million Muslims live in the United States. We have a population of about 310 million. 6 million are Muslims. In fact, one of the old line churches in this country is Presbyterian. There's a big Presbyterian church in London. There's a Presbyterian church in Mount Sterling. There's the United Church is Presbyterian in Mount Sterling. There's a Presbyterian church in Midway. There are far more Muslims in this country today than there are Presbyterians. Okay, I'm going to say that again. If you had said that 100 years ago, people would have thought you were out of your mind, that there would be a day in which there are more Muslims in this country than Presbyterians. quite a number of our presidents have been Presbyterian. Okay? Only about 18% of Muslims are Arabs. Most Muslims come from non-Arab countries in Africa and Asia. And last of all, the largest Islamic country in the world is Indonesia, which is out here. And there's been a lot of instances of anti-Christian terrorism in Indonesia. Restaurants frequented by Christians blown up, hotels in which Christian tourists stay attacked, very heavily Muslim, and a lot of them radical Muslims living in Indonesia. When you look at the map, this would be the last place. Oh my God, we're right above Australia. Okay, you can't get any more, pro-American than the Aussies. Right north of them is Indonesia, which is a heavily anti-American country and heavily Muslim. About, I don't know what statistic they say, but I would think probably 90%. Okay. Now, what you want to write down is, what do Muslims believe? What they believe. Remember, this is what Muslims believe. I don't believe this. I'm a Methodist. I'm a Christian. Okay? So some of you are going to get mad probably at me when I say some of the things I'm going to say. Okay? I'm just telling you, don't kill the messenger. But do listen to what he says. If you want to understand why we have problems in this world, this may give you a tip. There are 5 things that you want to write down. 1, skip a couple lines. 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 1. All Muslims, whether you are Shia or Sunni, believe in multiple prayers a day required. List of bills in each 2 names. Okay? All Muslims, whether you're Shia or Sunni, believe in praying multiple times a day. Not, it's nice that you pray multiple times a day. I'm a Christian. Okay, many of you in here, or most of you in here probably are Christian. I usually say a little silent prayer in the morning, and my prayers at night before I go to bed. That's my personal choice. In Islam, it's not personal choice. If you are in an Islamic city, in an Islamic country, and you're downtown on business, at a certain time, okay, in a minaret, which is a tower, used to, they did it actually, somebody climbed up to the steps, went to the top of the minaret and said this. Today they use, high tech. They have PA systems up there. It is such and such time. It is time for prayer. And everything stops. And everyone gets down, okay? You fall on your knees all the way down. You face Mecca. All Muslims know where Mecca is. Okay? You face Mecca, and down you go to pray. Okay? If you're Shia, you do it, and the handout points out, and I'm not going to ask you, so don't worry about it, but if you do it a different number of times than if you are a Sunni. Okay? They disagree on how many times a day you pray. Now, you probably, some of you may have in your home what we call an oriental rug. Okay? One of those beautiful rugs with an abstract pattern in it. Right? Everybody know what I mean by an oriental rug? Okay? I trust you know that those are Muslim rugs. They may be made in China, okay? But they're Muslim invention. And the reason you have a rug is that the ground is unclean. And when you pray to God, it is unholy for me to get down on the bare earth and pray. So I have a small rug that I have always with me, near me, that I lay on the ground so I'm separated from the earth before I get down on my knees and point my name to Mecca. Send my prayers to Mecca. If you look on those rugs, if they're truly rugs made in the part of the world of Islam, they always have an arrow-like point in them on each end, like the compass point in a compass rose, because that's what you use. You point that arrow towards Mecca before you pray. Okay, so the design of those rugs, however beautiful, serve a function. It's because they're prayer rugs. If you go into a mosque, okay, The rugs there are covered by huge oriental rugs, handmade on looms, the size of this room, okay, to keep the people there off the ground so that they are not offending God. Now you may remember that George Bush was given a speech, and someone took an item of clothing off and threw it at him. Shoe. Now don't shuffle, you need to write this down. If I'm a Muslim and I really want to, can I borrow your chair for just a moment? And you need, by the way, stay to class if I don't have time to do what I need to do. If I want to really insult him, whoa! I just said the F word to you, supercharged. Yeah.
You want to fight?
Yeah, well, I'm not doing that. I'm telling you what you are.
He's gonna bomb your
Okay?
house.
I am showing you the sole of my shoe. Okay? A lot of Americans had no clue what the significance was when that guy stood up in the audience and threw a shoe at George Bush. It was like he was standing up and saying the most horrible obscenity you can imagine at Bush, because a shoe is unclean. The bottom of it has touched the ground. And I'm pointing it at you. It says to you what I think of you. Okay? So that shoe thing is a very, very significant thing. Now, let's stop there. I have one thing to do. Aaron Phillips. It's not your birthday, I know.
Congrats, by the way.
Aaron Phillips. I'm happy to report not only won our school contest for the DAR, she won the county, and she's on her way to state competition. My hearty congratulations. We'll see you all tomorrow. You will get all of your hardware. And these people do pass out a lot of hardware. Okay? You'll get it at May at the scholarship bank. So Mrs. Dillion, who is Secretary of the DAR, she called me last night. She said to give you her hearty congratulations. She said they had some beautiful things that were turned in, most of them from Madison Plains. And she